your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
With Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. It's great to have you with us today on the Morning Drive. Take your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, of the mobile app. The Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. We'll finish up the Astros and the Pirates series tonight on 100.7 The Score. Broadcast time 5:10, play-by-play at 5:40. Rangers got down early last night, but they came back, but not enough.
Yeah, got down late, too.
Yeah. So that's no bueno. That's 2 in a row for them after winning 1 in a row. Did you see what Ryan Day had to say, the Ohio State coach and the coach of the defending national champion, with regard to what he thinks that the Big Ten deserves moving forward in terms of automatic qualifiers for the proposed, at some point in time, college football playoff when it has 16 teams?
Well, I've heard that the Big Ten is suggesting they should get 4 automatic qualifiers.
Yeah. He said, we're in the Big Ten, and we have 18 teams and some of the best programs in the country. And I feel like we deserve at least 4 automatic qualifiers. 4. Okay. What's the SEC going to say? Hey, we're the SEC. We're better than the Big Ten. I know the Big Ten won this past year, but we've won more than they have. We get 6.
Which is kind of crazy, because you would assume, especially if you're at 16, that almost every year that the Big Ten is going to end up with 4.
Yeah.
And earn themselves 4.
Yeah.
But I guess they just want to guarantee it.
Yeah.
Why can't we just not accept? We'll just take the best 16 or the best 12 that we're in the situation right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to do that.
Yeah.
I guess they're worried that if you guarantee all these slots for conferences, the non-power 4,
mm-hmm.
that would take away potential opportunities / money for the conference. But you're guaranteeing one of those guys, right?
Yeah.
So, the odds that the ACC or the Big 12 champ aren't worthy of being in the top 16 is pretty small, right? Pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying that in any given year it couldn't happen, but it seems like it's pretty small. It just, again, you got Indiana in last year, and they had one of the worst strength of schedules in the country, and they played in your conference. What are you complaining about?
Right. What are you complaining about?
Now, if you want to complain about the seeding, I'll get right there and shoulder to shoulder with you, and we'll fight the battle together.
They fixed that.
Yeah.
They fixed that.
I don't know. It just seems silly. I don't. So many times, it's not just with sports personalities now. Just people say things. I don't really know if they really believe the things that come out of their mouths, or they just feel like they have to say it.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has to stand up for the conference, or he has to. Well, I just want everybody to know that I think we're just as good as the SEC, so I just have to say something, even if I don't truly believe it.
Yeah,
the Big Ten is going to earn their spots.
They are.
They're deserving, as far as I'm concerned.
There might be some years they get 5.
Some, but Indiana I didn't think was a top 12 team last year, and they played just like it when they had to play a real team.
Yeah.
They were kind of fun to watch, but
yeah,
their strength of schedule was pathetic.
Anyway, just wanted to get your take on that. I'd seen that last night or yesterday, and I'm like, okay.
I guess the good part about
flexing
it is
his muscle a little bit there.
Yeah, and he's got a skin on the wall now.
Right.
So he's like, He's like that old grandfather that just feels like he's at the point where he can say anything he wants now because he's at that age. That's just Grandpa Bob. He's old, right?
We don't know anybody like that.
Yeah.
We don't know anybody.
Ryan Day feels like, okay, well, I've won a title now, so I can say crazy stuff, and you have to go,
It's Grandpa Bob.
Yeah, he won a title, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy talk, but he won a title, so I guess we need to listen.
That's right. By the way, the Astros lost last night 3-0. Rangers final was 5-4, and the Astros remain in first because the Orioles beat the Mariners 3-2 last night. So the A's losing woes continue. They fell to the Twins 6-1. Okay, so that kind of gives you a little look-see on the Major League Baseball. Again, we'll have Pirates and Astros from Pittsburgh tonight on 100.7 The Score. I got to be honest with you. I knew it was coming up. I didn't know Game 1 was last night, but the Stanley Cup Final has begun, Jamie. Okay. And Edmonton got down early, but they came back, and they won in overtime, 4-3.
Go Canada.
Over Carolina.
I'm rooting for Edmonton to win just because it's been, 93, did I hear yesterday?
Yes.
Since the country of Canada has won a Stanley Cup final.
Okay, and it kind of feels like it's their cup anyway, right?
Not since 93.
Yeah, not really.
That thing's lived in the good old U.S. of A. right there.
I'm sorry, did I say Carolina? I should have said Florida. Right?
Yeah, it's Florida Panthers.
Yeah, Florida Panthers.
I don't remember what you said.
Yeah, I said Carolina. Okay. It's Florida that's in the Stanley Cup final.
I'm just saying.
It's a rematch of last year.
I kind of like the concept that it's their sport and yet we hold the trophy. I kind of like that idea.
Okay.
It'd be like if the world's greatest cricket players were, here.
Cricketers.
That's an England sport, but we own your trophy. Suck it.
Cricketers.
Yeah. We haven't had
Cricketers.
any. We haven't had any cricketer or cricketeer.
Do you know anything about cricket?
No, we just haven't had any updates.
Neither do I.
Lately on the.
That is why I don't bring it up.
Yeah, we just haven't had any. So, at any rate, Edmonton's out to a 1-0 lead, and the NBA Finals begin tonight with Oklahoma City and Indiana in Oklahoma City. So that's Game 1. Thunder are heavily favored. I just have a feeling that Indiana's going to win. I'm rooting for Indiana. I like Rick Carlisle. I'm rooting for the Pacers.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
This day in sports history. Today is June the 5th, 2025. 6/5/25. Here's Jeff McGuire.
1955, New York Yankees' Mickey Mantle hits a 550-foot home run off Chicago's Billy Pierce.
Why don't we have as many hit as far anymore?
I think it's more accurate today than it was then.
I think there's
really?
some of that. I think the ball is different. I think the bats are different. I think there's other elements that go into it. But I do think it's more accurate.
I mean, it's the old tape measure thing. I mean, they didn't tape measure every home run. They estimated it just like the police and organizers of festivals and parades. 1 million people came out, to a town that's got 100,000 in it. It's always overestimated unless you count the actual tickets. And when you count the actual tickets for events, which I've done extremely number of times, it's always less than what you think. Always. It's always less than what you think.
Unless there's you can count the people in the stands. And then you get the tickets.
Well, if you have the ticket stubs or you have the technology to do it, then yes. But when they estimate 750,000 attended the parade today to watch blah, 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 go down Broadway, it wasn't 750,000.
I can remember calling some junior college football games where we could count the people in the stands, and we would keep track as the game went along.
We got 45 people here today.
We would give them names and mention when Bob got up and went for a drink, and when Steve returned with some popcorn.
He brought the popcorn back to Susie. They look very happy over there in the third row.
Yeah.
All right, proceed.
Junior college football. I love it.
1974. We make fun of a guy specifically for getting to a fight in the dugout and getting fired a bunch of times. But on this day in 74, A's Reggie Jackson and Billy North engaged in a clubhouse fight at Detroit. So do we always think it's not Reggie Jackson's fault for fights in the dugout? This is 2.
Well,
Billy Martin,
that
hard guy, don't get me wrong.
Billy Martin was after this one.
Right, but this is 2 for Reggie Jackson.
That was his first. This was his first.
We all think of the fight with Billy Martin.
Yeah.
In the dugout.
Sure. Was that kerfuffle is what it was.
Fine. This was the first fight with Reggie Jackson in the dugout. Was maybe the first one not? Was the second one maybe not Billy Martin's fault? Is all I'm trying to say.
Maybe not.
1981. Major League Baseball Houston Astros pitcher Nolan Ryan passes early win as the all-times walk leader. 1,777.
Getting ready to have a strike here, too.
We are. 2004. Texas Tech scored 10 runs in the first 2 innings to erase a 3-run deficit and cruised to a 14-7 win over Mississippi State in the NCAA Regional Elimination Game. Junior left fielder Michael Mask tied the game with a single to left, and Josh Hanley gave Tech its first lead with a squeeze bunt down the third baseline. Cody Fuller and Brady came up through with 2-out RBI singles to help push the lead to 12-7. And in 2014, MLB draft out of the Cathedral Catholic High School in California, pitcher Brady Aiken, first pick by the Houston Astros.
It didn't really work out for him, did it?
Didn't get signed because they discovered he had an injury or inflammation in his pitching shoulder. His signing bonus went down. His bonus went down. He didn't want to sign that deal. He wanted the 6 instead of the 5, I think, which was offered. Because he didn't sign, the Astros didn't get the extra money off of that for their lower draft picks. They ended up losing like 3 signees because he didn't sign.
Wow.
And then a year later, he signed with the Indians, I think, for like 2.3. It is National Ketchup Day, Sausage Roll Day, and Veggie Burger Day.
Okay. Man, if I had a dime for every time somebody said, "Are you related to the ketchup folk?"
You'd have a dime?
I have lots of dimes.
Mark Wahlberg, 54.
Be cooler if you were.
That's right.
Ryan McKnight, 56. Ron Livingston is 58. Kenny G, 69. Sam Darnold, 28. And Torrey Holt is 49. And on this day, 1944. It was approaching midnight on June 5th, 1944, when the USS Texas, a World War I battleship, entered the German minefield off the coast of France. Alongside the dreadnought were nearly 3,000 ships crossing the English Channel to begin their assault on the Normandy coast. The Texas would become instrumental in the coming battle with her 5 rotating turrets. She and the rest of the fleet were softening up the German defenses, and when the push moved past her range, the USS Texas flooded her far side so that her guns could be elevated further, sinking herself partially on D-Day to help the troops in the upcoming battle. And that is this day in sports history.
All right, that indicates that it's time for your lucky local winning word. Somebody could be you, is going to win $500 just like Shirley Wilson did on Tuesday. It's all from the Home Zone, making your house a home, and Double T 97.3 as we give local cash to local folks just like you. Probably scratch you out a check, but it's good. You can take it to the bank, put it in yours, and it'll pop up there. Your lucky local winning word here this morning at 6:51. Go to Double T Sports Network to enter this in or get yourself qualified to win is Spartans. 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 Okay.
The Seabrook Intermediate School Spartans.
Is that what you guys were?
That's what we were.
Okay, nice. Jamie,
One reason I know how to spell Spartans.
Have you ever been a Spartan, Jamie?
I've never been a Spartan.
Okay.
Spent a lot of time as a warrior.
A warrior. Okay. Mm-hmm. Warrior. Nice.
In fact, our initials were SIS, which was also the in-school suspension. So, like, I would hear people say, "Yeah, I gotta go to ISS." I was like, "What's wrong with going to SIS?" Not like putting the phrase together, because it was Seabrook Intermediate School as opposed to in-school suspension.
Yeah, that'd be ISS.
That was ISS, yes,
Yeah.
and that's what they were saying. But my ears were so used to hearing SIS
Gotcha.
that
That's your lucky local winning word. Go to Double T Sports Network and enter Spartans. Just one other note on that Bill North and Reggie Jackson fight on this day in 1974. Jackson, as a result, injured his shoulder, okay? And Ray Fosse, remember him? He's the guy that got bowled over by Pete Rose in the All-Star game in 1970. Right. He was trying to separate the two combatants. He suffered a crushed disc in his neck, and he spent the next 3 months on the disabled list. I know. Ish is right. And if you're looking for a conversation starter with regard to Bill North, you can say, Bill North was the first player in Oakland Athletics history to serve as the designated hitter, going 2 for 5 in the A's 1973 season opener. Okay. If you're looking for a unique conversation starter. Not that there's really, right now the conversation starter is, man, I've watched more softball than I ever have. That's what everybody's saying to everybody else. And we'll have more tonight for you on Double T 97.3. We'll have it at 6:30 here on the radio. And it's so good to hear it on the radio. I mean, baseball and softball, those are just companion radio sports. I think it's just perfect. And look forward to having it tonight, 6:30, the broadcast time, 7 o'clock, play-by-play here on Double T 97.3. The Red Raiders got to win tonight to extend their season.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. You'll hear Dan Patrick at 9. You'll hear End of the Bench at 9 on 100.7 The Score, if you so choose, which is fine. In the high noon, bottom line, or The Herd with Colin Cowherd here on Double T 97.3. Okay, Jamie, it's your choice which article we're going to talk about, okay? I have a feeling I know which one, but I'm going to let you choose. Dick Vitale ranks the 12 best men's college basketball teams, or we can talk about a Big 12 football summer rankings, power rankings, by a gentleman written by the name of Austin Bundy. I don't know if he's Peg's boy or not, but at any rate, which one would you like?
I would like to hear what Mr. Bundy has to say.
Okay. So Mr. Bundy ranks the 16 teams in the Big 12. He has the USC Knights, the UCF Knights. I think I said UFC. UCF Knights as number 16. Mm-hmm. He said this is going to be a complete reset for Scott Frost. Okay. He has Mike Gundy celebrating his 20th anniversary at Oklahoma State as the number 15 team.
Really?
Yeah. Regardless of what quarterback emerges from the battle, Oklahoma State will have a Week 1 starter who has a grand total of 0 passes in college football. Crazier things have happened, but don't expect it from the Cowboys.
Yeah, it sounds like if that's the case, year 20 will be his last.
Yeah. Number 14 is Arizona, considered a title favorite in 2024 before crashing and burning under their new coach. They had nearly 40 players leave Tucson for the transfer portal.
40?
40. Yeah.
Wow.
Right. 40. Number 13, West Virginia. Rich Rodriguez's triumphant return will likely have a very short honeymoon period. No, they love him in the hills. The roster he's built will be made up significantly amount of JUCO transfers with chips on their shoulder, which could be a hidden advantage. Though the strength of the rest of the conference, that's not going to matter much. They have Houston up to number 12. Okay. I mean...
Okay.
They've got a Texas A&M transfer quarterback, Connor Wegman, who gives them a boost. The defense still needs work, okay? And they lost their defense coordinator to us.
They did.
Okay.
And one of their top defensive players.
There's a significant chance, he says, the Cougars will win more than 4 games in 2025, okay? 11 is Cincinnati. Program added 16 players, losing 15. But their quarterback, Brendan Sorsby, has an opportunity to rebound from his poor form in 2024. Fans shouldn't expect Cincinnati to be competing for a conference title, but could be a spoiler. This may surprise you and may not. Number 10,
Okay.
Colorado.
Yeah, I don't know where exactly I would have put them, but I would have put them somewhere around middle of the pack.
Yeah.
So this isn't too far off from that.
A point that you've made, he doesn't have his son or Travis Hunter, his son Shador, to keep the positive coverage on Boulder. So every misstep will be amplified. Anything less than a Big 12 Conference Championship game appearance could be the beginning of the end for the primetime era at Colorado. Already.
Goodness.
That's a pretty big step.
It sure is. That would make you believe that they're getting sick of just Deion Sanders.
The rhetoric.
Yes.
He probably wears them out.
Yeah.
Kansas is number 9. Jalen Daniels coming back that makes them dangerous, according to him, to contend with, despite not having a strong supporting cast around him. So, Kansas number 9. Utah number 8. That was a team that they thought they were going to come in and just rule the Big 12, right? Mm-hmm. So no Cam Rising because he's retired. Team will have to get used to a new full-time starter.
From college football or just from working in general?
From the sport.
Okay.
I don't think he's got enough money to retire.
I feel like he's old now.
Yeah, right. With Whittingham potentially entering one of his last, if not final season, this team could be the most dangerous to play against. So you could have a couple coaches that, him and Mike Gundy that could be like on their swan song, so to speak.
Well, that'd be crazy.
7 is TCU. Lofty expectations resulted in a 5th-place finish. 2025 could be a lot better for them. It could be a lot different, is what they say. Josh Schuber's over 3,000 yards a season, offers much promise, and could be the key to unlocking a shock chase for the conference title of their own.
Wow. They definitely have a good quarterback, so that's a big factor.
He has Baylor at number 6. Okay. Offense is solid with quarterback Sawyer Robertson and wideout Josh Cameron. He'll need that, Dave Aranda will, or his job's on the line. There's another job on the line. Feels like, as much is given, much is expected. You better cash in and do a great job, or you could lose yours. Nothing motivates a team more than a potential regime change. I don't know about that. And, of course, championships. They've got a roster to turn some heads, he says, for the conference. Number 5, this one may surprise you. Iowa State is number 5. Came one win short of winning their first ever Big 12 championship last year. Massive success. Rocco Becht is back for another year. With his head coach, Matt Campbell, that duo can't be ignored. The team's only weakness is its defensive front. Okay. Number 4. This may surprise you a little bit. This is where he has Texas Tech. Okay?
No, not surprised.
Not surprised, okay.
I mean, even go back to as far as like 5 or whatever. That may just be one game out of...
Sure.
Out of first place.
7th place finish was not entirely indicative of how good Texas Tech actually was. Red Raiders will return a significant amount of its roster, but quarterback Baron Morton's shoulder surgery could be a significant concern. Transfer portal was very kind to head coach Joey McGuire, which may have bought his team more margin for error while chasing a conference championship. More margin of error.
That's good.
Yeah, it wasn't complimentary, though, of the defensive front. I mean...
Margin for error.
Yeah, margin for error. He has BYU at number 2 if it weren't for 2 consecutive stumbles.
Who was 3?
I'm sorry, number 3 is BYU. Number 3 is BYU. BYU returns enough of its roster, remains a serious threat at the top of the conference. But keep an eye on Jake Retzlaff and his civil sexual assault case. If that doesn't go well, then the Cougars could sink down this list quickly without his talents.
Yeah, no doubt. Lose your starting quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, and
that'll change things.
And here's the question. I mean, that's in the news. That's going on. If he weren't their starting quarterback, would he still be on the team?
I don't know. You have to ask BYU that question.
Yeah, right.
It's not for me to worry about.
He has K-State at number 2. Avery Johnson didn't impress as much as many thought last year. Always room for improvement. Oh, there you go. Always room for improvement, Jamie. He must have talked to you.
Yes.
Wildcats added a significant amount of new talent. If he has a rebound season, the rest of the Big 12 could be in serious trouble. He has Arizona State as number 1. Defending champions look poised to repeat. They somehow play any better than they did last year. They have one glaring question to address. How do they replace Cam Scattaboo?
That's a big one.
Sam Levitt, the quarterback, has found himself on many Heisman watch lists, but his head coach, Kenny Dillingham, better hope his recruiting prowess in the transfer portal will fill the Scattaboo-size hole in the offense. So that's a big one. If you wouldn't take 4 right now for the Red Raiders, would you?
No, I would not.
Yeah.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3, presented today by someone not named Jamie, is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Alrighty, guys. Stealing Jamie's question for today, I've got. I would like you to pull up the Texas Tech football schedule, as we just talked about power rankings for the Big 12 from the guy Chuck brought in. I want you to give me, and this is not the one that you need to win the most. This is not the one that you want to win the most. But when we look back at the 2025 season, what home game do you think is the most important game? And what road game do you think will be the most important game? Again, this is looking back at it, not the one you want to win, not the one you need to win the most, but what's going to be the most important home and road game for the 2025 season?
If I were a jerk, and I can be that sometimes, I'd say the first one and the last one. But
I mean, those aren't bad answers.
Those are okay.
No.
I'll take Kansas State as the most important road game. I'm choosing that over Arizona State because I think Kansas State is the better team. I don't agree with Mr. Bundy that Arizona State will be the top team in this conference. As far as home game goes, I think I got to go with BYU. There's a part of me that wants to say Kansas because I think Kansas is going to be a good team. It kind of sets the tone early on. It's a good challenge for the Red Raiders in their Big 12 home opener. But I'm going to lean towards BYU because I think BYU could also win the conference. So clearly that one is going to have major implications as well.
I agree with you on the K-State game. I mean, I think that is the most important road game. I think you could make a case for Arizona State, but until you go to Manhattan and win, I just don't think you're going to win a Big 12 championship and put yourself in a Big 12 championship game. I think that those 2 weeks right there, back to back, boom, boom, at K-State on November 1st and at home against BYU on November the 8th.
What if you didn't have K-State on the schedule in any given year? Could you still win a Big 12 championship?
Yeah, you could.
Well, you just said you couldn't do it unless you go there and win. Yeah. The years. Tell you what, Jamie. The years we don't play K-State on the road, we're playing for funsies. Okay, it's just exhibition. It's all the house money.
It's all house money, right? That's right.
The years we don't play Kansas State in the regular season, we end up playing them in the Big 12 championship game. That's how it would work.
I think you could lose at Kansas State and still be in the Big 12 championship game this year.
You're probably right, but I think that your margin for getting there helps you, because not only is it a win, but it's a loss for them. And
that's a team that's going to be challenging you for that spot. Yeah. No doubt. No question.
So
wouldn't it be fun if it was like a rematch kind of game?
Yeah.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah.
I think you're right about BYU, but I'll just play Oppo for you for a second. I think that Kansas game is important to, like you said, get started off in the Big 12 at home in a good stretch. I mean, you're going to come off of a couple of road games at Utah and at Houston, and then you go to Arizona State the next week. So, I mean, you could be on quite the little roll there, and you know what? I'd just assume the Red Raiders beat the Jayhawks and then kind of go on down the road. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you're wrong on that.
The two games I'm looking at for this answer, and this is more of a history of the Big 12 kind of play to it, especially since Joey McGuire's been your head coach. Most important home game, UCF. Most important road game, West Virginia. Your last two games of the year. This conference has been so tight at the end of the year that it's one game separates it. And if you're in the hunt for a Big 12 title at that point, that is the time you do not want to lose the most in this conference, because that will knock you out of the championship game. I mean, look at Colorado last year. Steamrolled through the beginning part of the season and stumbled at the end, and it was enough to knock them out of the conference title game.
Man, I got to tell you, if you're going into those last two games, and we kind of think how it's going to go for UCF and West Virginia, I'm feeling pretty good about where you are.
Yeah.
If you're coming off of wins over K-State and BYU, and you're going into that UCF game, man, I am like, bet the house, baby. Here we go.
And
you lose that game, and
you're going to feel like that.
Then there are going to be some serious questions.
You're going to feel like that Iowa State loss. You're going to feel like that Oklahoma State loss. You're going to feel like that A&M loss. So you're going to feel like
we're going to be talking about fat little girlfriends.
Yeah. I just remember that Iowa State game where they came down here and we had that kid on from the cornfield, and I felt sorry for him. And about 4 hours later, I was like, I ain't feeling sorry for him anymore.
We had the kid on from the cornfield.
We had some sports writer wet behind the ears, corn cobs out of both of his pockets. He came down here just, to cover the ball game. And I felt sorry for him because we were going to kick their tail. And there was no kicking of the tail then.
Which Iowa State game was this?
This was, I think this was a Tuberville era.
After the Oklahoma win.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Highest to highs, lowest to lows.
You remember the
I wonder what the
reporter.
I wonder what the Chuck Heinz of these radio stations of other teams in the Big 12 conference. I wonder what they say about us.
Tortilla tossing.
No, I don't know.
What they call us. That's where it was.
They probably feel sorry for anybody that is with me. Is what they probably feel.
Corn coming out of his pocket. Some kid that walked out of the cornfield. I mean, West Virginia. All they do is drink moonshine. That's all they do.
They got a bottle waiting for you when you get off the plane.
When you come out.
Hey guys,
of the
I got to
womb.
go to Morgantown. I'll be back later.
Yeah, when you come out of the womb. Yeah, Chuck assumes that's the case. Just wonder what the Chuck Heinz of Ames says about us.
Oh, they probably want to kick my tail. Probably just want to beat me up, and then
and they're like, you know what? That guy, he doesn't fit Texas Tech. He doesn't. He really has Kansas arrogance. Seems like he's more of a Kansas guy, his personality, than a Texas Tech guy personality. That's what they would say. That's what I say.
Well,
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
you this morning on the Morning Drive on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. We come to you, Jamie, Jeff, and I, from the First United Bank studio. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too. I feel like sometimes I say stuff, which I have no problem having an opinion. I think you all know that now. But sometimes my opinions are like smelling salts. It just brings everybody out. It wakes everybody up. Okay? Mm-hmm. You know, like if I could have been a pretty good trainer if somebody got knocked out on the field and you'd give them the old smelling salts underneath. This won't happen because they won't do this. The new Saturday show, Thetford Nashville, with special guest Chuck Heinz. Nope.
Well, there's a reason that won't happen. It's very special guest. We can't tell you who it is. It's just a very special guest. I mean, we know that's the term we use for Tech Talk, so that would have to carry over on Saturdays.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love listening to these guys. We already have Old Timers Day every Saturday with Thetford and Ashby and when Craig Wells joins. Wow. Give me more of those guys during the week. Okay, well. Chuck's new motto, fire white hairs, hire snowflakes. Nope. I don't care for the snowflakes. I want the really old people to just do what they need to do. And this gal on this court case, I mean, if you can't figure it out by now, then hand it off to somebody else that'll make a decision. Okay? Let's see here.
We used to have a boss that had a term or a saying that he would drop on me every once in a while, and it would always annoy me. It probably fits in this situation.
What's that?
Something to the effect of, your lack of preparation does not cause for me to have, an emergency. And I think this is kind of what's going on with
the NCAA?
With this court case.
With this court case?
Yeah, you guys want it done so quickly, but
she came back and said, do this, do this, do this, and they did it. And now she's just twiddling her thumbs.
The fact that the NCAA has been so incompetent about all of this, and now you want us to immediately fix it for you and jump through circles and all the above. That's just, we know that's just not how the court system and all that works.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Failure to plan on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said very uneloquently.
That
Thank
was
you, Jeff.
a sign above our one of my old production directors' desks.
Did you guys never hear that from our old boss?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Failure to plan on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine.
Yeah, and I wanted to drop kick him in the forehead each time he said it, but
it's not wrong.
Yeah. He was very unmoved.
Oh, there were times, yes. Juan M says this, isn't that why Snead is back? Isn't that why Snead is back? Yeah. And Snead is spelled with an A, and my name is spelled Heinz. Come on, guys. We've been here for 15 years. We ought to know how to spell people's names by now.
Why? I don't get why Snead is back. Snead, what do you mean? That's
because he was just making fun of the fact that Snead is old too. Isn't that why he's back for Old Timers Day?
Oh, okay. So it was a little joke on
It was
Snead.
a little joke on
Okay,
me.
all right. Like, I'm a huge fan. How did I get it?
Okay, Chris Snead in 3, 2, 1. Cameron says this, Chuck is on a heater, ... corn out of his pockets and unmoved. Cameron, I've been a lot of things, but I've never been on a heater. I know that you all think that I do drugs or occasionally have, but nope, no drugs for me. Unless you consider, if you consider alcohol a drug, then be at it. Come on, Chuck, you're 75 and still at it. Nope, I got another 11 years. I do not hate New Home and all old employed people. No, I do not. Bullfighter says being in the 60s is the new 75. Chuck is not 75.
What do you think your wife would think of you calling this lady sweetheart? Do you think she would say that was an appropriate thing to say to her?
She's probably...
That was my favorite part. I feel like that's been glossed over, but that was my favorite part of your little diatribe.
Hey, sweetheart, yeah.
Called her sweetheart.
Hey, sweetheart.
Which is so demeaning.
It's not, it's not meant to be.
Yes,
Here's the deal.
It was.
There's so many things.
Yes, it was.
Hey, sweetheart. Hey, yeah.
It was meant to be demeaning or you wouldn't have said it.
Well, it was meant to be factual, too.
Is she a sweetheart?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Your wife is a sweetheart.
Yes.
That is not what you called the judge.
Right? No, I was being
demeaning.
facetious,
Demeaning.
condescending. I prefer condescending over demeaning.
Okay. Whatever.
Condescending. I was being condescending. What off-season issues are you talking about for Diggs? God forbid he rehabs an injury where he wants to, Chuck. Well, it's in his contract that he signed. Okay? That's the deal.
And I think there's reasons why they want guys rehabbing with the team doctor, so they know they're on schedule, they know that they're doing what they want, and they also want them around their teammates.
Yes.
They want them around their teammates for reasons to build team chemistry and all of that good stuff. They want them around.
Meanwhile, Stefan's off with Cardi B and God only knows her troop of people on a boat, dancing at the end, when he's supposed to be in New England, working on the field. If you're under contract, you show up and rehab when and where you're told. Pretty simple. Yeah, pretty simple. Pretty simple. It's like if the man tells you to be to work at 8, you'd be to work at 8. Okay? That's what you sign up for. And then you can't be mad at him when he's mad at you when it's 8:15. Sorry about you. That's your problem. Right?
Yeah, right.
Proper use of sorry about you right there,
I
right?
think it was.
Didn't you grow up in the 60s, 70s, Chuck? Everyone did psychedelics back then. Don't BS your viewers. I am not. I'm telling you, at your friendly Overland Park Kmart, okay, when we had the Kmart parties
this morning, so.
okay, I said when the drugs came out, I went home. Now, were there drugs there occasionally? Yes, and then I went home. I didn't partake.
I'm all up in that, homie.
Just good to know it's all natural.
Even then, Jamie.
What you get, what you see, and what you hear is what you get.
Whatever his brother's doing, not on Trayvon. Okay, are you his brother too? I mean, good God. I mean,
that part is fair, though, right?
It is fair, but I mean, he's violated his contract. So the Cowboys are saying you're not going to get $500,000.
Yeah.
Guess what? If I don't show up for work today, guess what happens? I get docked.
Yeah.
Unless it's a vacation day.
Yeah, whatever Stefan is doing is true. It's not on Trayvon, but Trayvon's got his own set of issues that were referring to him breaking his contract by not rehabbing with the team. Yeah, that's a different deal. So,
psychedelics. What are you, man? You're some kind of wacko. Psychedelics.
This could be a fun final 51 minutes.
I did not do any LSD. Did not do any cocaine. Did not do any.
I feel like Chuck is moved right now.
I am very moved. Roxanne!
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.